So I'm just on my way back home on, well, first of all, happy Bank Holiday Monday. I hope everyone's having a good one, and fingers crossed that this weather stays okay, because it does say it's going to rain most of the week. So hopefully we'll miss it today and you can all enjoy the bank holiday. I've just come back off, well, I'm just on my way back from an appointment, a market appraisal appointment, and it still completely bamboozles my brain when people don't understand the role of an estate agent in the UK, and they don't understand the different types of agency that's out there. There's three main types out there, which is the online agent, very DIY, but it's got a place in the marketplace. There's the traditional high street agents, which, yeah, I'm not going to be bashing high street models. They have their place in the market as well, and they've been successful for many years. And there's the more personal agent like myself, which, again, there's benefits to that to the consumer. But a lot of appointments that I go on, they just don't understand what the agent does to get you marketed and your property out there for prospective buyers. They just think we take pictures and stick it onto the property portals, which obviously we do that, but there's a lot more to it than just sticking your property online. Unfortunately, a lot of the other types of agencies do that, and not very well, because they don't use professional photography, they don't use video, they don't utilise social media or direct mail marketing to tell literally everybody that your house is on the market or coming to the market, which is a little bit, I can't understand why people don't do that. And they don't, again, I've sent through a checklist to today's appointment of this is what we would need to do to get your property ready for professional photography. And she was like, oh, well, I didn't realise that we went into so much detail on how we can get the best out of pictures, etc., and marketing, because a lot of other agencies won't have even gone through that, because they will just turn up, tell you what you want to hear just to get the piece of paper signed, tie you into ridiculously long contracts, give you a price that's usually unrealistic, and then you're stuck into a long contract and you can't really do anything other than reduce the property until you find that buyer. There's only three things that affect any listing, and that's price, presentation, and promotion. And if you don't get all three correct, then your property won't sell. And she just didn't understand the whole role of what an agent does for you or doesn't do for you, depending on which one you go for. So please, if you are going to be putting your property on the market anytime in the next 6 to 12 months, and you are getting agents round to come and have a look, and if they tell you, which they will come out and do a valuation on your property, which I know it's an industry term, but an agent can't tell you how much your property is worth. And if they do say that, they're lying, because I don't have a crystal ball, and I know they don't. So how do they know what your property is worth? A property is only worth what somebody is willing to pay for it. The job of the agent is to market your property to the best of its ability. So whether that's for professional photography, professional videography, drone footage, social media content, direct mail content, literally tell everybody about your property and it's coming onto the market. Put as many eyes on that house as you can, and the market will determine what you achieve. There's no point going high and hoping that you achieve something and then we'll just barter it down and we'll get somewhere where we want, because when the lenders get involved, this is why so many valuations are downvalued, because the lenders are not stupid. They only lend on properties that they can lend on. They don't on a value, sorry. If somebody's marketing their property at 300,000, and on paper all the data suggests that it's worth 280,000, the banks are not going to lend 300,000 on it because it's their money that's at risk. A lot of things come into consideration when offers start coming on a property. It's not always the top monetary value that is the best offer. A lot of things, there's a lot of moving parts in a transaction, and I don't think the general public tend to, and why would they? Because they don't know unless you're actively doing that process. So if you the biggest thing out of this video I wanted to get across is, please don't just go with the cheapest agent because they've told you what they want, what you want to hear. They said they're going to be the cheapest in fee, and they've told you the highest figure, and told you that your house is worth something that you, deep down, you know it's not worth, but they said they can achieve that. If they can't prove a strategy on how they're going to market the property to allow you to achieve that price, because just sticking it on the portals is not a strategy. How are they going to achieve that price for you? Because it's not your money until it's in your bank. And it really frustrates me where you see people go onto the market with the cheap agent because they've told them a ridiculous figure and said that we will only charge this, and that agent ends up being the most expensive agent because you automatically think you've lost out. Because if the agent told you your house is worth £20,000 more than it probably is, and then when offers start coming in £20,000 below what it's marketed at, because buyers are not stupid either. They're looking at houses all the time, and they know how far their budget will go and what they can achieve for their funds. So the sellers then automatically think they've lost £20,000 when it was never their money anyway, and they reject all the offers that they should be accepting or negotiating with, and then that's why we see so many properties coming back to the market or sales falling through, because the whole process has not been explained. If you are selling your property, there's a lot of moving parts, and if you don't have someone sat in your corner to explain all these moving parts, it's very, very overwhelming and sometimes confusing. And there's a lot of things that unfortunately can go wrong. The industry in the UK is a little bit broken, and agents like myself are trying to better that and improve the situations and overall the overall experience for our clients. It's not all about getting market share or just signing people up to long contracts knowing that you're not going to achieve those prices, because I'm a business owner, and what is the point of me marketing a property that I know won't sell for that price? And well, initially just lying to people saying that yes, your house is worth 300,000 when you know it's not, just to get that piece of paper signed so they hit their targets at the end of the month because their office has X amount of listings that month. They get their little bonus, they get their salaries, and the person that misses out is the actual person that they've employed. They've instructed that person to work on their behalf, and they've lied to them from day one. Please, I implore you to, when you are getting agents round to discuss marketing your property, putting your property on the market, or just want to have an idea of the process, find out what they actually do to market the property. And the first things they do, they say, it'll be on Rightmove this afternoon. Red flag, because how do you prepare a property in an afternoon when someone comes round to see your property, sits in your living room for 20 or 30 minutes, sometimes less than that, tell you your house is worth, like, hello? Because that figure gets stuck in your head, and you then can't get that figure out of your head. You think your house is worth more than it is because technically a professional's told you that, and they've lied just to win the business. you're stuck into a ridiculously long contract, and you're stuck. You don't achieve what you wanted to achieve, and nobody puts the house on the market for the sake of it. You wanting to achieve something, there's a reason why you're selling, whether that's upsizing, downsizing, relocating, moving closer to family, relocating to be in a school catchment area. You don't put your house on the market for fun. It's a stressful process, and you're going to be very disheartened if that experience is not a good one. You feel like you've missed out, you get lied to. It's same as anything. You have to prepare to come to the market. You have to get your property ready to come to the market. This is why I got a check sheet of things that I suggest. This is what we're going to do to get the best out of the marketing for your property, and the photos. If you were selling your car, you wouldn't put it on Auto Trader. I know that there's other things. You wouldn't put your car up for sale without washing it, without cleaning it, without asking other people if they know anybody that might want it. You would explore all those avenues. If the wheels are scuffed, you would try and get them repaired. If you know that there's something wrong with the car, you would fix it before you put it up for sale. Why do that for something that's worth, well, anywhere between £1,000 and maybe 20, 30, 40, 50,000 pounds, and it's a car? Why would you not do the same for a property? Your property is probably your biggest tax-free asset that you own, and you are giving it to somebody that's finger in the air, says it's worth this, and doesn't get the best out of the marketing for your house. Presentation is key. If there are things in your property that you know need to be repaired, whether that's a scuff on the wall, a hole in the wall, the dodgy tap that's not quite right, the leaky shower, fix them, because it will make your house, it won't add value, but it'll make your house more saleable. And when people are starting to put offers in, they will tick all them little boxes in their head that I need to fix this, I need to fix that, I need to fix this. And they won't knock £500 off to fix the shower. They'll knock £1,000 off their offer. They won't knock £1,000 off because the carpet is stained and messed and there's scuffs everywhere, and they will knock £1,000 off or £2,000 because they need to recarpet the full house. All them little things add up to what you are going to achieve in the long run. So please, when you are interviewing agents, work out what you want from an agent. Don't just go with the cheap one and go get led down that garden path, let's say, even though deep down you know it's probably not right, because the amount of people that I speak to is yeah, we put that property on the market last year with X agent and they told us this price. Where did they get that price from? Well, they just told me. Why did they tell you? Because his boss is telling him, get that piece of paper signed today. What's the easiest way to get that piece of paper signed? Tell the seller what they want to hear. Sign that. Thank you. Never see that person ever again because it gets passed to the office. What do they have to lose? There's no comeback on that person because you never see them again. That information gets passed on to the office. They see the paperwork and say, right, let's get the pictures done, let's get this done, get that done, let's get the property onto the market, knowing that they can't probably achieve that price. And the biggest thing that we see a lot in the industry is down valuations from lenders. If there is obviously always a chance, because the property is only worth what someone's willing to pay for it, there's a chance that if your house on paper is worth 280,000, you might be able to find somebody that's willing to pay 300,000 for it. That is a possibility. If they're buying cash, no problem. If they're buying with a mortgage, the bank will only lend a certain figure on it, and then that's when people will go, well, the bank will only lend 280 on it. In your head, you've already lost £20,000. That £20,000 is a lot of money, especially when you need that funds for your onward purchase. That onward purchase might not be achievable now. because you've got less £20,000 that you thought you were going to have. So there's a lot of moving parts. Please, when you're going down this road and you are putting your property on the market, explore all the options, definitely. Get people around, but ask the right questions to the agent. How are they going to achieve that? What strategy are they going to use to market your property? And how do they market your property? If they just say, it's worth this, sign this piece of paper, and it'll be on Rightmove, putting it on the property portals is not a strategy. There's a full marketing plan that needs to be put in place and thought of, and that's different for every property. It's not the same, because you have to find that particular buyer for the particular house. There's no point me marketing a property at 150,000 that's ideal for a first-time buyer or an investor to people that are looking to upsize to a 4 or 5 bedroom property, because it's not relevant. The wording, the advertisement, how you market it is different to a 3 bedroom typical semi-detached property to a 4 or 5, 6 bedroom detached property. It's completely different marketing, because you're marketing to a different type of person and families, criterias, what they expect from a property. It's all different. If you market every single property from a 2 bedroom terrace property to a 5 bedroomed detached property the same, because it's frustrating. I'm waffling on now, and I appreciate that. Enjoy the rest of your bank holiday. If you or anybody that you know is struggling or thinking coming to the market or having a bad experience at the moment, my phone is always open. Just reach out, drop me an email, a WhatsApp, or a phone call. I'm at the end of the phone, and I will be able to review things and help you and put a plan in place for you and help you achieve what you want to achieve, which is moving house. For whatever reason that is, just give us a ring. Have a good one.